Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, when, and where you might be watching this. It's time for another episode of Four Doors of GT4. Is the first episode of 2026, and boy, oh boy, I think we have quite a bit to talk about tonight. I'm Stu, in case if you've forgotten who I am, and as always, joined by the one and only Mr. Aaron Pfeiffer. Aaron, how's it going tonight? How's 2026 been treating you so far?
Yeah, happy New Year, Stu. Yeah, it's going good. This is our third year of doing this. Look at us sticking with it. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, it's been a long break and ready to get after it. A lot of exciting news dropped last week, and you know, I think some of our predictions have
Oh,
come true, and some of them won't.
I think I lost sound here. Keep talk about
Can you
something
hear me?
fun while I fix this for a second.
Yeah, sure. So, obviously, most of you guys know that the VP Challenge will be racing this weekend at Daytona. So, if you're coming to the Roar, the first IMSA race of 2026 starts this weekend. So, we're only, I think, 6 days away from our first IMSA race of 2026. And unfortunately, there's no BMW M2 Challenge cars to talk about, but we will talk
Oh,
about. What cars are there and what cars are not there, Stu?
yeah. I'm back now. So, yeah, there's a lot to talk about, as I heard part of what you were referring to there. Yeah, no M2 challenge, whatever they ended
Don't
up
don't
calling it.
worry,
Uh,
it's coming. We can't wait.
Yes, it's that will come in due time, of course. But yeah, we're going to be running through, the taking a look at the VP Sports Car Challenge entry list, Michelin Pilot Challenge entry list. Every all the news that's come out about that in the over the past month, and as always, if you guys have any questions that you guys want answered, then drop them into the live chat below, and if you're listening to this after the fact, then and you have questions on something we didn't cover, then you can always find us on the social medias. At Aaron has his handle in his name. If you're watching this on screen right now, at Pfeiffer TCR. So go check that out.
Stu, I'm gonna
Oh,
start with a quiz question for you. How
oh, I
many
didn't.
car how
You didn't
many
tell me that I was going to be tested on any of this now.
how many cars were entered into the first race of the VP Challenge last year?
Last year, I
Yes.
would have to think it would have been around 25, right? Because we
It
probably
was
had six in GTDX, probably like 15 in GSX, and then five or so LMP3s.
you're somewhat close. It was 33. We had
Oh,
8 LMP3s and 9 GT3 cars.
nine
Um,
GT3s.
9 GT3. Stu, how many GT3 cars are entered for this weekend's race?
Oh, I know this one. I know this one.
What's the
Zero.
answer?
Zero.
Zero.
Zero, zero, zero,
Yes.
zero,
I,
zero.
I hate to be the people that dogpile on our poor VP Sports Car Challenge, but yeah, what we thought was going to be like an awesome addition to the class. We basically saw the peak of it so far in its brief history at the very first race last year with 9 cars, steadily declining down to 4 cars at some events last year. And then the entry list comes out this week, and there are 0 GT3 cars on there. What do you make of that, Stu?
That tells me that the changes that were made are not really working. Are not
Yeah,
really working, and something else needs to change in it to make this a more attractive option for those GT3 teams to come running. And I know that we've talked about this for a while, but like this has always been this has been a class that's been in direct competition with GT World Challenge America, right? And is it
yeah.
GT America is the yeah. So uh, is there anything that comes to mind for you that like
To
that like why?
To me, first of all, you have a GT3 car, which is very expensive, right? You have an $800,000 car, and if you're gonna spend that much money on the car, you want to drive it on the track, right? And I think one of the things that's holding this back is the fact that the VP Challenge does not get very much track time when you're actually at the track for the weekend, right? So you're already spending this huge amount of money in bringing your crew there, your car, all that stuff. And then what's the return on that if you're the gentleman driver who this is what it's based for, right? When you're getting, 30-minute practice sessions, two 30-minute practice sessions at some weekends, a 15-minute
Yeah.
qualifying and a couple of sprint races. I also think um, it's obvious that these a lot of these AMs. You look at GT3 around the world, they want to race with a pro, right? And this is a solo. We're racing by ourselves event, which I don't think is working right now. I wouldn't be surprised if IMSA tries to move this GT3 series into the 4 2-hour race windows, so you can get a double driver lineup, right? And either split the
Yeah.
cost or have your pro with you. And then I think it probably, if you're SRO, you're probably kind of excited because you're probably thinking this is boding well for what they've changed for this year, which is going to a 3-hour format with two drivers. So be interesting to see when when we get to Sonoma for SRO, what their entry list looks like, because obviously the GT3 platform around the world is very strong. It's very strong in WeatherTech, as you obviously see, but something's missing right here in VP Challenge.
Now, is with the VP Challenge, do you do you think that we could see an actual class of GT3 cars on for the endurance? Some of the endurance rounds that they kind of added, the multi-hour long
I mean, I,
races,
I don't
or
know that they'd make the change right now, of course. I mean, if you're IMSA and that's what people are asking you, like, what do you have to lose at this point, right? But something's got to give because currently there's nothing. I mean, I'm guessing that you probably had one, two, three cars maybe entered, and IMSA
yeah,
told those people, "Hey, look, we only have two cars. What do you guys want to do?" And those couple people backed out, or literally nobody period signed up for it, right? Because you go
yeah,
back to last year, you had some big name teams in here, right? You had Turner,
yeah,
you had Conquest with two cars at Daytona, you had Wright Motorsports who ran the whole season. You had GMG. I think that was the only time we saw GMG and Kyle Washington was at
yeah,
Daytona.
true.
You had Samantha Tan in there
ST, yeah,
for the whole season. Then you had AF Corsa with two cars, and then AJ Muss ran that car for a majority of the season until he went to Triarci for WeatherTech. So yeah, you had some big teams, some established GT3 teams committing to it, but yeah, I mean, I know we make fun of VP Challenge, but obviously you want to see all the series do well, and yeah, there's something missing here right now. So, and even if you look at their GT4 entries, you were exactly right with the number of GT4 entries last year. It was 16, and there's 11 this year, so that's down as well. And obviously, when we talk about Pilot Challenge in a minute, GT4 isn't hurting at all. I mean, we have 35 cars entered in Pilot Challenge, so
yeah,
maybe these customers coming to IMSA in these GT3, GT4 cars are looking for longer races, endurance races, more track time, more ways to split the money. And you see most of IMSA's big car counts in sprint races in all the single make series.
yeah. It's kind of funny because it wasn't that long ago that this the VP Sports Car Challenge was the longer races. It was those, what are they used to run
The
like
3 hours?
4 hour race. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was multi-hour long races, and yeah, it's I don't know. It's well, you can't just we'll have to wait and see what the sanctioning body does, because I mean they obviously put the GT3 cars in there for a reason, and they want to have that as part of
Well,
the championship. But
and I did read ahead. I did read the rule book for VP Challenge because that's what I do, right? And for the endurance races, there is a pit stop, obviously, because you're going to have a driver change. But Stu, what are they? They're the dreaded mandatory timed pit stops.
Oh no.
Yes, yes. So it will
Non-competitive
be.
pit stops, really?
Yes, it will be a timed pit stop when they go to their endurance races. So yeah, so
Mm,
if you want pure IMSA strategy, you still have to be in Pilot Challenge or in WeatherTech.
yeah.
But not all bad. Let's talk about the good stuff, and let's talk about who is
Yeah.
going to be there at the track this weekend.
Yes, let's put on our happy hats for a second, because yeah, like you said, there are some positives that are coming out of this. This is the first time we're going to see a brand new LMP3 car on track in the Ligier JSP 325. And we're going to see a few of them at least on the grid for the Rolex 24, and some of these are going to be running for the entire season. So you're going to have a couple of entries from Gerbhardt Racing in LMP3 with their Duquesnes. You'll recall them running in this series last year, and you know
Dominating.
dominating
Yeah.
dominating the championship. Yep. We're gonna have a couple of Forte Racing entries with the older version of the Ligier on the grid. You have a couple of brand new ones and a team that is stepped up. A team that's local to me, that has stepped up not only in the VP Challenge but also in the team that stepped up. Sorry, with an LMP3 and a GT4 entry, although the GT4 entry is in the Pilot Challenge, I believe.
Yep.
But Tooth Autosport, a team that you've heard of for a few years, making some sort of spot starts in IMSA. They're going to be joining the VP Challenge grid here full time with a brand new LMP3 car under the name of Shopify Racing. You have Pinaxis Zone 4 Racing that's going to be on the grid as well. Tony Driver
What,
Development.
which Pinaxis says Gerbhardt on there, so I'm assuming that is a Gerbhardt run car with
Oh, true.
somebody else's name put on it. Yeah.
Yep, I did not even notice that.
It's the Duquesne. So yeah, so
Yeah.
looks like Gerbhardt will have half the entry here, have four of them.
Yeah, basically. Oh yeah, there's a couple of Tony Driver Development cars. I missed the second one that's on the entry list here as well. And then Fast MD. That's a team. They raced this LMP3 in this series last year, I believe. But they also had an Audi that they were running in the GSX class for most of the
Yeah,
races, I
Fast
thought.
MD's been in LMP3 game for a while.
Yeah,
They were running it in
WeatherTech for a bit.
in the HSR series last year, I believe. But yeah, they were in WeatherTech. They were in the old
Yeah.
prototype challenge for this series. So yeah, 9 LMP3s. It looks like 3 of the new cars that you're going to see. So you'll have a nice little mixture of
Yeah.
sound there between the V8s and the new V6s. So I mean, I don't think that's that bad considering where the LMP3 car is. Is actually one up from Daytona entry list last year. So I mean, if you could stay around not 8, 9 for the whole season, I think it's awesome. So
Absolutely.
I think on the LMP3 front, it's positive to see people still using the old cars and getting their money out of them, but also people bringing the new cars as well. It's awesome to see Tooth, like you said, get a title sponsorship out of Shopify Racing. The driver's still TBD. I mean, I think I could take a guess who it's going to be.
No,
If
they confirmed it on social media that it's Travis Hill
okay, yeah, there you go.
or
And
Trevor. I don't know, one of the Hills.
so yeah, so honestly, good stuff there. And then, a little disappointing with only 11 cars in GSX, which is GT4s, but I'll let you
Yeah.
run through those there. Still, you seeing a lot of names on here that we'll say again in a few minutes in Pilot Challenge.
Yeah, and a nice variety of cars that are going to be represented on the grid here as well. You're going to have Di Benedetto Racing on the grid again with a Porsche, Ave Motorsports with a Supra. When did the Evo 2 for the Supra come out? Was that last year?
I think it's new for this year.
Interesting. I
Or
don't remember
last.
hearing anything about it. Yeah.
I don't think it's a big Evo kit, but yeah, It was either last year or this year, but yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Fairly
you,
fairly new.
you can look at it and you can't tell the difference. Yeah.
Oh, it's one of those Evo upgrades.
Yeah, it's not like a super exciting one.
Okay. You also have Stephen Cameron Racing with a Mustang. You have CSM with another Porsche. Auto Technic, a name that's one of the ones you see flipping or on the Pilot Challenge grid as well as in VP with their BMW. Another is it at Ave or
I've always hear it called Ave. Yeah.
okay, perfect. Kingpin Racing and Ave are going to have Supras. Then you have 89X Motorsport with an Aston Martin Vantage. VRC is going to have another Porsche. And then finally, we do have the Pan Am Motorsport Toyota and the Goldcrest Motorsport Porsche. So, you have 5 or 6 manufacturers that are represented here on, the 11 car grid. You get some variety. You mentioned, 9 entries in LMP3. Like that's kind of the minimum that we need to be able to have some enticing enough racing and kind of continuously see battles in throughout those classes over the course of what's going to be 45-minute races, except for those endurance rounds.
Yeah, and I believe 6 of these teams are going to be in the Pilot Challenge race as well. So, you kind of see 2 schools of thought with that, right? Sometimes you see what we used to see Rebel Rock do, right? Which was get Frank more track time by,
Yep.
running your AM in this and then in the pilot race as well. And then sometimes you see, just a different driver altogether for these. The only one, Kingpin, we've seen run Pilot Challenge before, but they're not entered into the race. But like 89X is in there, Auto
Yep.
Technic, obviously CSM, Stephen Cameron. So yeah, so some good stuff here. VRC Motorsports Group. I mean, that's a team I don't really know much about. I know a little bit about them because somebody that I worked with at ACI is working on those cars as well. But they're a new team, but coming into IMSA with an effort in both championships. So pretty impressive way to start. I don't know of Goldcrest Motorsports either. I don't know if you know anything about those guys.
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
So
Uh,
yeah, I gotta say I didn't do a deep dive into this, but you see a couple teams on there or missing off of there, right? That were kind of
yeah.
mainstays last year, but like okay, BSI Racing's not in there this year, but where we're going to see them in a minute in Pilot Challenge. So you
Yeah.
see the ladder system working for IMSA, right? As teams stepping up from single make series and then into VP Challenge and now into Pilot Challenge. So I think certainly not a broken system or anything like that, but just would love to see a few more cars. But I feel like we could say that about everything.
Yeah, I mean, we're always now that we have the WeatherTech grid full, right? We're always going to be looking for, well,
Well,
why can't every series that IMSA runs be filled up like that? But yeah, for me looking at, you mentioned that we are down in the GSX car count. Whether it's 4 or 5 or so from where we were last year. It's that is disappointing, but I mean, really, for me, it really stood out just not having the GT3 cars, like in included, or not that they aren't included, but nobody signed up or there wasn't sufficient interest to be able to run that. Like that's the biggest disappointment or the biggest thing that sticks out to me from this entry list,
yeah,
which sucks. Like that sucks.
yeah.
I don't think there's any other way to put it.
Yeah, we'll have to see where the season takes us with that, and some. I'm sure IMSA will figure out something, right, but we'll have to see, and we'll have to see also how it looks for SRO, because I mean you can think
True.
about it however you want, but I mean those guys are in competition with each other. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
absolutely.
ahead though, and I'm gonna give you a prediction for a champion in this series. go ahead and give me Weston Workman as the series champion as he steps into the GT4 for the full season.
Yeah, that's an I really like that for Weston being able to, he ran he's run the MX5 Cup. He's run the uh what's what's the Toyota
The
equivalent?
G86 Cup, yeah.
Yes, yes. Run
And he
that.
won that
He's
championship last year. Yep.
Yeah, won a bunch of races. He's with Rafa, or has some Rafa support behind him, even though it's being run as an Ave Motorsports entry.
And
You know,
You saw Rafa and the Super dominate this championship last year.
yeah,
Surprising considering the Super got 0 wins in Pilot Challenge last year, but yeah, the Super was the car to beat in this. So, and quite frankly, I mean, he's only up against three other silvers. Everybody else is in the Bronze Cup.
yeah. I think that being said, I know having watched Di Benedetto for a couple years now, I think that I think there's going to be some good battles between him and Weston. I'm not too familiar with the other silver drivers that are there, but yeah, I mean something that also stands out is there's a large group of bronze drivers that are going to be going at this series hopefully throughout the season. So um yeah, hopefully we'll see some good battles in GSX again. Like it did produce some solid racing last year. LMP3 was a bit of a runaway at times, but who
Yeah.
knows? That change up in drivers and new seasons always can bring some fun things there. So
Yeah, and
um
I think it's gonna be interesting with you have, 10 events on the schedule for those guys this year. You have
yeah.
if you're in the LMP3, I believe you go to COTA twice. One is the NASCAR layout, and one is the full layout. You still get to go to Sebring, Mid Ohio, VIR, CTMP, Road America, Road Atlanta. So yeah, some great tracks to go to. Yeah, let's see where it goes. And the biggest question will be how. I mean, we're probably gonna be turning away BMW M2 challenge car entries. We're probably gonna be at capacity anyway. Probably
Well, how
60
many
car
cars?
grid.
How many? I mean, we talked that we're the main importers of these cars, right? Like we're so how many
Still wait.
you
I mean, that was
I've had people hit me up.
that was 2.5 months ago. I still haven't seen anybody announce that they were running one. So yeah.
I
Anyway,
mean,
we'll see.
I guess they don't debut though until the endurance rounds, right? So that
Yeah.
the first one is
So
Sebring.
March 6th. Yeah, before a
Yeah.
couple of weeks before IMSA Sebring. So yeah, still 6. Well, no, still 8 weeks. Yep.
And speaking of those endurance rounds, the endurance portion of the VP Sports Car Challenge calendar has a name now. It picked up some title sponsorship from Airbnb. So it's the Airbnb Endurance Challenge. And that's going to be for the LMP3 and BMW M2 competitors. So for their 4 2-hour races that are running on those USAC weekends. So, IMSA has IMSA is gonna they don't want to just let this die, right? They
No, I
obviously don't
mean,
want to let a series die. They're
I
gonna try
I,
and push to
I think it's awesome to
add
see
entries.
a
Yeah,
sponsor that's not directly tied to the sport, right? I mean, obviously, VP is the
yeah.
fuel supplier, Michelin is a tire supplier. So, yeah, to see a company come in from the outside that isn't in racing and come in to be a title sponsor on a multi-year deal, I think is nothing but good news. So, yeah, I mean, look, IMSA is going to get figured out. They normally always do. So, we'll we'll wait and see on that one.
Now this is like I mean, Airbnb has been in the sport for a bit, but I think it was a drive. Is there a driver that must
Yeah, he was
P3 driver, right?
a
I
P3
don't remember who it
driver, yeah,
was.
was one of their senior executives, yeah.
Yeah.
So there is that tie to IMSA there, but yeah, take that VRBO.
Yeah, everybody make sure you book your Airbnbs when you're going to watch the Airbnb endurance challenge races, especially those those M2 races.
I crashing there with a pretty good question in the comments, and I don't know that I know the answer to that. Will those?
Is it
Will
selling
those?
tickets?
Yeah, I don't know if you can just go to a USAC weekend or not, but I also don't know if there's a plan to televise them or not, to be honest with you. I would
Oh,
assume if you're bringing in
yeah,
a sponsor, certainly they're
yeah,
gonna put it on YouTube, right?
yeah. I would imagine. I mean, even all of the IMSA sanctioned series are streamed somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Like
but
even
we've seen this championship not have its races streamed before. They ran at Sebring several years ago during the WEC test the week before
oh yeah.
the IMSA race, and that race wasn't streamed. But I think that was in the first year of the series. So yeah, I would certainly assume that it would be streamed, but that's actually a good question, and I don't know that that's been answered. But who is a credentialed member of the IMSA media is Stu, and I'm sure he can get those questions answered when he is at Daytona for you.
Yeah, I'll do some digging and see if I can get the answers to that. I assume that they would be streamed. Otherwise, yeah, if I was a sponsor, I'd be pretty cheesed at that. So, yeah, I crashing maybe, yeah, keep an eye open. I don't know why. Yeah, I maybe they just don't open up USAC sales for tickets until closer to the actual date. Who knows? I've never been to a USAC weekend,
I
so.
can't say that I've been to a USAC weekend either. It could be like Champ Car where their insurance doesn't allow them to sell tickets
Mm.
to non-race competitors, but I don't know. Anyway, all right. Well, should we move on from your favorite championship?
Yeah, I guess we got to move on to the meat and potatoes of this episode, and that's the Michelin Pilot Challenge entry list. It's a doozy. It's a big one. A very healthy grid once again for the Rolex weekend. Sorry for the well, I guess it's the Roar before the 24 entry list that we have, right? We don't have but this will be the same
Correct.
entry list
Well, you
as.
technically, unlike WeatherTech, you do not have to run the Roar to run the Pilot Challenge weekend. I do know of one team that is not coming for this weekend to
Oh,
save money and will be at the next weekend. So you can expect the car count to be at least 50. There might be a couple more. We normally see 2, 3, 4 teams do that, but yeah, yeah, 95+% of them are going to be right here on this entry list. All right, Stu, it's so many cars that I actually
yeah.
printed it off and wrote
Oh
a couple
my.
quick notes so I could plow through it for us so we don't spend 2 hours on it. But take
Let's
it,
rock
take
and
it.
roll.
I'll give you one quiz question here to start it
Yeah.
before I get going. What manufacturer has the most GT4 cars in Pilot Challenge for this entry list?
Oh man. Um,
It's not going to be who you
which
think.
which one has the most? I know that there's who now who was Giovannis running with last year? What they were in Aston
Ask them.
Martins, right?
Yep, yep,
So I
yep.
know they've switched. So that that's a couple of Astons off the grid. That kind of leads me to believe that Aston won't be the top dog there. I know it's definitely not going to be Mercedes. Porsche, maybe. I guess I'll go with Porsche. Porsche's the thought.
Porsche has 6, but it's actually a tie between BMW, not that surprising, a very popular
Yep.
GT4 platform with 8, and the Ford Mustang with 8.
What? A
Yes,
Ford?
we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
we're
guess.
gonna about to talk about 8 Mustangs here. 4 Supras. We only had 1 Supra kind of on and off last year. 2 Mercedes, as we see the return of somebody who's run Mercedes for a long time, and then 5 Astons. So yeah, I'm gonna run through it quickly. It's a lot. Stu, you stop me with all your important questions. All right.
Yeah,
So
you firing just through the GT4,
just
the
through
GS
GT,
class.
yeah,
Okay.
we got to save the very best for last. Come on, we know what the people
Okay.
came here for. They came for the front wheel drives. All right, so CSM returning. You see Morgan Burkhart back in that car with Madeline Stewart, a
Yeah.
female from New Zealand, and she's announced that she's running the full season. So that's awesome to see. We're actually going to see several females in here for the full season.
I believe that's a multi-year thing that she signed too, or is on with Porsche on a multi-year deal, sort of
Gotcha.
development deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Is that like when James Vance signed that 5-year contract with Dealey? Anyway, okay.
Maybe Sam is in the stream and you get
uh,
James on talk about that.
okay, Medusa Motorsports, brand new team. I don't know a ton about them. I looked them up on social. It looks like this is their first ever race. Looks like they got a bunch of young drivers coming into a 3-driver lineup for that. They are running the Mustang GT4 car. You have VPX, which if you follow GT4 America, you'll know they are a team that's been running the Porsche for several years. So they are making the switch and coming to Pilot Challenge. I saw that they were testing in December at Daytona there, and that is with Least, who's been their pro driver for a while now. We see 89X Motorsports. That was a team we saw come and go last year throughout the season with an Aston Martin, right? And don't know that you're going to see a full season out of them, because when you look at their social media, as of 5 days ago, they made a post that they were still selling seats for this season. So if you would like to get on the grid, there you go, guys. It's right there. Go reach out to the 89X guys.
You could also
Vanderster,
run VP Challenge with them.
there you go. Just double it up. Vanderster back with its bronze lineup of the husband and wife duo as well that we saw last year in the awesome bronze and green livery that they had. You see Rafa back again with the Supra. Then you have Macumbi McAleer Racing, who is bringing Robert Noacker. Now, where do I know that name from?
Yeah.
The guy who had the best season, you like mathematically could by winning everything in Mustang Challenge possible. He jumps into the GT4 as we see another Mustang, and Nate Cicero, a name we've seen a lot in the championship before. All right, this one you might have to help me on. Circle H Racing, Aston Martin GT4 Evo. I know nothing about them. Can't find them on social media. I haven't heard of them. So if anybody in the chat knows Circle H Racing, you can tell us about that. We see our friends from JDC Miller running their second season in the Porsche with Mikey Taylor and Chris Miller. With Stephen Cameron Racing, it's a team we've seen for a long time in another Mustang. Okay, here's your Shopify Racing, your Tooth car, and and have you seen who's driving this car?
I did not notice that.
So Ron and Megan Tomlinson, who we saw in the Precision Racing LA TCR car last year, have stepped up to GT4, and it looks like they're going to run maybe a third driver, maybe a pro with them, TBD for the endurance round. But there's that was kind of a surprise to me, but great for those guys. And I see they're keeping it in Canada with Tooth.
Well, Shopify Racing, actually.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Plug the sponsor. My bad.
Plug Shopify.
Yeah. Now in the Copeland car, which we saw Copeland last year, right? But we didn't see Coke, I believe, on the name. So Ford Coke is a driver, so I'm assuming that's where we're getting our Coke from. We see Jackson Bell back in that car, and a guy by the name of
who's that bum?
Jack Hawksworth driving with them.
Wow.
Oh yeah. So there's your Toyota Lexus connection there on that Supra. So that is our first full season WeatherTech driver that we're going to see in there. Interesting for that car. I think that's a team that didn't they podium at Road Atlanta?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely a car to watch, I think.
Now this. Okay, so Ford, you said Coke. Now, is this not the same spelling as Kenton? Kenton Cook?
Is it?
Is it?
I don't know. I thought it was written
Koch? Koch?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. If if it is, man, this is gonna throw me off if it is pronounced differently. Anyways, we carry on.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe it is. I was thinking like the Koch brothers. Okay. Now this one I'm excited to see. So Kenny Murillo and Murillo Racing back in Pilot Challenge after I think a 2-year absence. They were a mainstay that you saw in Pilot for years with their orange Mercedes. Great to see another full Mercedes team. So we're only going to have two Mercs on the grid this year, but they're two teams that are very familiar with this car. And it's actually Kenny Murillo and his fiance driving the car together. Now, Stu, you have a fiance. Would you like to race a car with her all season long? How would that go?
Oh, well, I mean, you're talking to a guy that I mean, doesn't race a car, so hell yeah, I'd love to go
Okay, okay.
and race car. I mean, that's better than nothing. But do I think that that would be the best idea? I mean, probably not. You're probably going to have more tense moments than you would want to, but
Yeah, but I like it. You know that's two
that's
husband and
bold.
wife. That's two husband and wife pairings in the championship as well. So that's pretty cool.
I,
Uh,
I mean, some people golf together, some people go race cars together, right?
that's
It's
right.
just the way
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, me and my wife, we fold clothes together. So, it's
Yeah.
just different strokes for different folks. Okay, Heart of Racing, a team you have
Yep.
not seen in Pilot Challenge, bringing the Hannah teammates from SRO over for a full season of Pilot Challenge. And it looks like they're also bringing a Aston Martin Pro driver with them for the endurance rounds there. So that's cool to see from them. So you'll see Heart of Racing running a GT3, a GT4, and I almost said DPI, a GTP car. So,
Going
uh,
HSR now.
yeah. So I think that's pretty cool from them. I think it's a bit of a bummer if you're SRO to see. It sounds like they're not going to return to SRO for this season, but probably like a bit of a logistical nightmare when you're running the major championships they are to also, do another eight weekends in SRO. So Auto Technic, who, had a sneakily good year last year. And when I was looking back at this, I really don't think we gave them enough credit last year. I mean, they finished third place in the championship in the BMW. And you got
Very competitive class. Very competitive.
Stephen McAleer in that car, no slouch. So I think it's definitely a car to look out for this year. I think it's LAP or is it Lap? I don't know. Motorsports in their Ford Mustang, we saw them last year. They're back. Carbon, this car was the number 4 car that we saw kind of come and go last year. They've given up the number 4 number to Medusa, and this car is the 37 car. Won't be the last time we see Carbon. Here we go. Okay, Samantha Tan Racing by Random Vandals
Yeah.
with Samantha Tan, last year's GT3 DX bronze champion, with a guy named Bill Alberland. So that's
Some guy.
some guy in his 30th season as a BMW Pro driver. Hey, okay, I'll get. I listened to Bill Alberland on Paul Tracy's podcast. I don't know if you've listened to Paul Tracy's podcast at all
I
yet.
have from time to time. Yeah.
Very good listen. I think if you should go listen to that, if the Bill Alberland episode, I listened to it last week, and it was quite interesting. I mean, Bill Alberland, such a competitor and so dedicated to racing that literally at one point in the interview, he goes, he never had children because he thought it might make him slower at the racetrack because it might distract him and make him
That's
think there was
wild.
other things in life other than going fast. So talk about a guy dedicated to his craft. I think I believe we saw them race together 2 years ago in SRO America.
Yeah, you
I
might be
want to
right.
say, but anyway, I think that's cool. It's great to see Random Vandals. Their name was going to come up again in a second as well. So that's again a lot of strong BMW teams. I think if you're just looking at this, I would say BMW probably feeling like their best chance in a while to win the manufacturers championship with just the strong amount of teams they have coming in here. You go to the next team on the list, Carbon, who finished second
Wait,
place in the championship as well.
but before we do, to tie in a thought with that ST by Random Vandal's entry. Like we talked about the VP Challenge, a few minutes ago, and how it's not great that we see like that we don't see the numbers. We didn't see the numbers get better. That they declined from year to year. But what is good to see is the drivers graduating from that and
Mhm.
moving on to other series. You mentioned that that Samantha Tan had competed in the GTDX class there and won the bronze championship, and now is moving up to the Pilot Challenge, where she's going to be racing the full season. And presumably, based on what she's said in the past, wants to eventually get to the WeatherTech Championship at some point. So, the
And
credit where credit is due.
we know Random Vandals wants to get to the WeatherTech Championship as well.
They sure do.
And they're
They
very
sure
good
do.
with the GT3 car already. So yeah, I think that could be a great partnership. But
Yeah.
that I think that's a great one to watch. Obviously, Sean McAllister, Jeff Westfall, second place in the championship last year. And notably, as I've skipped the number 28, RS1 is not in the championship this year. Our defending GT4 champions, which obviously they're in GT3 and WeatherTech for the Endurance Cup. So, we're going to have a new champion this year anyway. Interesting to see who it'll be when you got 34 cars in here. Ibiza Farms, a multi-time race winner last year. They won Daytona last year, back with Moise Uretsky and Michael Cooper. Obviously, somehow the only McLaren still, even though
Yeah.
we saw the McLaren be very strong last year. You see their support at the track is very good for their customers as well. So interesting with that, but I think that's definitely a car to look out for race wins. And then we get to Team TGM, same drivers, but as you alluded to, Ted loves to do it every couple of years. We got another car change for TGM, who I believe has been, let me get this right, in the Camaro, then the
Yep.
Porsche, then the Aston, and now the Mustang over the last 6 years.
And they went through the two Astons as well. They went through they got the Evo too, didn't they?
Oh, okay, there you go. So, yeah, Team TGM, our champions from 2 years ago, in that 46 car with the new Mustang. I've seen them on social testing that out as well. So yeah, awesome to see. Interesting to see what they do with that car. And just so interesting to see the Mustang be so well represented in this championship. I mean, it's got to be by far their number one GT4 championship there is. Pan Am Motorsports, who we saw multiple times last year, back again as well.
As Andrew pointed out, maybe we could get another McLaren later on in the season as well.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, there's a couple people that have crashed some cars during testing. Yeah. Go to another stalwart of the championship, Windward, who was the lone flag bearer for Mercedes last year. They are back, but as you will see, no Daniel Morad again. We saw that change mid last year, so Bryce Ward with Dan Arrow now on that car. We see Core back again with their double car lineup like we've seen before. I had kind of forgotten that Core was like winning this race near the end of the race last year and ended up finishing third with Billy Johnson in the car. So the Mustang looked pretty strong last year at Daytona. Now that I think about it,
and they also were really strong at Road America too, weren't they? I feel like they were like their top three were Mustangs, but they were basically crashing into each other towards the end of that race.
Yeah, and Indy, weren't they passed right there at the very end by the McLaren? I think they were winning at Indy too. So
yeah, they took a bit of a swing with the tire strategy there, I think, right?
Yeah, and you'll see the other core car with the Greg Biffle tribute livery on the number 60 car.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's cool. That's cool to see.
Yeah. And then, of course, you see Ted Giovannis and Hugh Plum in the TGM. And the other car, the returning Bronze Cup champions from last year. Last page, hold on, we're still going.
We're still going.
Thunder Bunny Racing, a team we saw come and go last year. And we saw them running the Supra, then switching to the BMW. They're still with the BMW, and they will be a two-driver lineup for that car. Then you have BSI Racing, like I alluded to earlier, with their new to Michelin Pilot Challenge and pit stops and all that stuff. So, you see them moving up the ladder, right? And you see the ladder doing what it's supposed to do with the MX-5 success, and then the wins in GT4 in VP last year, and now you see them in Pilot.
Yep, that's what you want to see, right?
Yep.
Growth.
Rebel Rock with Frank and Robin, like you're used to seeing in the Aston. Of course, they've had the Aston since it was literally brand new. Okay, BGB, weren't they leaving? Weren't they gone, taking a year off? They're back here on the entry list. But
with a pretty darn strong lineup, too.
Yeah. Oh, and they got Jan Halen, last year's champion, in there with Spencer Pompelli in a three-driver lineup. So, yeah, there you go. BGB is back. I don't know if they're back for the full season, but great to see them back, a team that was in the championship for a long time. VRC Motorsports, again, another new team, and that team is running the Porsche as well, and that has Darren Law in the car. So that was a surprise to see on there in a three-driver lineup, along with Owen Trinkler, which is awesome to see Owen on the entry list as well. So, and that's a Bronze Cup lineup, which I wrote down. There's only 4 cars in the Bronze Cup, actually, Stu, out of all these 34 entries.
I was surprised to see that as well. I remember getting to the bottom of this, and I was like, I don't remember seeing that many of the little, bronze trophies beside many of these entries. And I mean, I guess, could we still see some turn into bronze entries? Like, you think of, the Shopify one with the Tomlinsons, but do you have to enter when you register with IMSA for the season? Is that when you declare if you're a bronze entry for that season, or can you declare that later on?
Yeah, and I would guess the Tomlinsons would have, since they have a third driver TBD, I'm assuming it's someone quicker, right? That would disqualify them. But I think you could go race to race and switch back to bronze. Like, I think if you were in 2-hour races, you could, but I haven't ever run the Bronze Cup, so I can't say have a deep knowledge of the Bronze Cup rules. Only 3 to go, and they're all BMWs, Random Vandals, Robert McGinnis. Never heard of him. Yeah, so another very solid driver lineup there. And then you come to the 2 Turner cars. Guys have been this championship for decades, and literally everyone on that driver lineup has been a champion in the Pilot Challenge before, including last year's champion Luca Mars, who was in the Porsche. So he's gone from the Mustang to the Porsche to the BMW in 3 years, and he is with Dylan McIvern, and then you have Foley in the other car as well. So, yeah, that's a pretty stacked driver lineup there, and I mean, let me throw in a couple more WeatherTech drivers here at the end. I mean, yeah, what an entry list! 34 GT3 cars with just stacked. I mean, when you win this race, like, bravo! I mean, you've really beaten a lot of people.
Yeah, like, I mean, just this last page that you've been going through. You mentioned Jan Halen and Spencer Pompelli in the 83. You mentioned those, the 2 Turner Motorsport entries. You see one of those driver lineups on this entry list, and you think, oh yeah, they're probably going to be a favorite for the championship. Like, that's reasonable to say. But then you continue scrolling through the entry list, and it's just incredible. Like, there's always a ton of very good drivers in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, but man, looking at this entry list, it is wild. That is a strong list. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch in that 4-hour race at Daytona.
Yeah, and we always see a couple more cars at Daytona, but I mean, even if we lose 6 of them, right? I mean, that's still 28 cars for the full season. I mean, this is awesome for Pilot Challenge. I mean, we're gonna have 50 cars at Daytona. I mean, and you got, I think I wrote it down here earlier. Like nine of those cars have, or no, 12 of those cars have three driver lineups. So I mean, the amount of drivers you're going to see on track, I mean, you cannot tell me that there's not going to be some type of chaos at some point in this race. This is going to be an awesome one. It's always a great race, and I'm super excited for it. I mean, I'm always excited. It's the first one of the season, and but yeah, this is going to be special, and I hope a special season for Pilot Challenge uh, all year long. I mean, a strong entry list like that is something that they can hang their hat on.
Yeah, yeah, it really it's exciting to see when a list like this gets released. And like you said, even if we do lose a couple of entries, you know, I mean, yeah, there's 34 that are on this list. When the additional car that you said we can probably expect for the Rolex, is that a TCR or a GS?
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe it's a TCR car. Yeah.
oh, okay. So even if it stays at the 34 entries in GS, and you know we take a bit of a step back, like the way that the championship battles are going to develop in this class throughout the year is going to be a lot of fun. We've talked about it a lot, especially when we get down to the end of the season and we're really talking about the championship fights a lot, and how one bad weekend you can really look back at that, and in it when there's 20 high 20s car count in your class, and you have a DNF, or that really stands out at the end of the year. So
Stu,
right from the word.
if you finish worse than 30th, you don't score any points. Four
Yeah,
of these
yeah.
cars are going to enter the race and score 0 points because points only pay out to 30th. Like
That's
this is
wild.
this is MX5 Cup stuff. I mean, this is awesome. Yeah, I mean, yes, four of these cars are going to score 0 points. That's how crazy this is. So yeah,
Well, this has to be the single largest IMSA class, right? Like
for sure.
any of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
even the support series, you don't see or the single make series, you don't see a single class that's 34
MX5.
cars. Sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's wild. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, 0 points for 31st. Sorry guys. Yeah. Yeah, whoever wins this championship is gonna earn it. And yeah, like you said, consistency just absolutely could be the key to winning this championship. But honestly, like with the amount of cars and the amount of drivers, and especially when you get to the 2 hour races, like I think you're gonna see guys with a bronze, silver lineup really kind of struggle because there's a lot of
Yeah.
quick driver pairings in here. I mean, and it's as someone who has a bronze silver lineup, like it's just not as easy as okay, go pass them all now. These guys are
Yeah.
also all pro racers, right? So I think you're going to see one of these really strong lineups win the championship. Stu, who's your prediction for the champion? I gave you mine. I took the easy one. I took Weston Workman earlier.
Oh yeah, you took Weston. I'm gonna go with, well, assuming that they're a full season entry, the 83, the BGB, Jan Halen, Spencer Pumpelly. That's a strong one, but man, you also look at those BMW lineups and it's hard to go against them. But yeah, give me the Porsche. Give me the Porsche.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just gonna go Porsche because I'm a Porsche GT4 guy.
Ah,
I'm not
yes.
I'm not gonna pick a team. Yeah. So but yeah, that is our GT4 lineup, and like we said, could see another couple of cars added on there. Who knows for by the time we get to race week.
Now, speaking of you being a Porsche GT4 guy, did you guys have a round at Sonoma uh that you
The
went
o- the
that you were
opening
at with
round
last
of
year?
the opening
Yeah.
round of SRO is at Sonoma. Yeah.
Now, would you like to see an IMSA an endurance round at Sonoma?
I have never been
What
to
are your thoughts on
I
that?
have never been to Sonoma. This year will be my first year going to Sonoma because
Oh,
I was not with the team for the first weekend last
gotcha.
year. But I haven't heard anything bad about Sonoma. Would I love to see a full IMSA Enduro round at Sonoma? I mean, look, I've said it on here a million times. I would love to see more Pilot Challenge endurance rounds, and I think I'll talk about it in a minute. The amount of 3-driver lineups in here, like, I just don't think it can be ignored by IMSA. Like, the demand is there. Like, give us the give us the endurance cup for Pilot Challenge already. I mean, this is
They're doing it for VP.
yeah. Let's do the thing. But yeah, I mean, I look, I love the 4-hour races, so I'll take them. I'll take them on the damn Detroit street course. I don't care.
Oh, and we have a Baker Racing fan or squad member in the chat with us as well. We're about to get talking about GT or pardon me, TCR. So yeah, Baker Racing going to be a big part of the TCR class next year.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I mean, we can jump into
Perfect transition.
everyone's favorite class. You know, the touring cars. Yeah, so 15 entries on here. That would be down 2 from last year, which was 17. Like I said, I have it on pretty good source that we'll see at least one more come for race week, and it'll be a name familiar. So I think hopefully we're at 16. You know, a little disappointed in it, just in the fact that, you know, there's not new teams, right? You know,
Well,
we
there
see
kind of is.
we see one new team, right? But you know, and they're run with goo. But you know, I was
Yeah.
hoping to see explosion of more teams. And you know, before I run through the entry list, we'll see Precision LA, which had 2 cars last year, have 0 cars and not entered in the championship. So you know, hate to see that. You know, we saw. I think we talked about it on the last episode of 2025. We saw Ryan Eversley, you know, making posts that they were trying to sell the seats. Then we saw one of the cars go for sale. I haven't seen the other car go for sale, so I assume they still have one. But you know, would love to see those guys back. I know some of these Audi boys would like to see them back as well. But still, a strong class and a real I mean, kind of like a shift to changing the guard as far as manufacturers and stuff, and we'll talk about that in a second. So we'll start with the number 5 car, a car that we've seen for a long time in Michelin Pilot Challenge, of course, running the Alpha for a long time, then switching to the Honda last year. But we have a new driver in there. And I see the other driver is TBD. Now we know that Tim Lewis Jr. is normally the driver we see in this car, right? And Will Talley was in their car with him last year. Tim's not listed on here, but I will say if you do a little bit of detective work and you zoom into their picture on Instagram of the drivers' names above the door, you will see Rocco and Tim's names listed on there. So I am assuming that means that we can see Tim, and if not, then you know they need to peel the stickers off the car. So there you go. On the number 5 car, that's my
The
internet
investigative
investigation.
journalism that we need.
Yeah. I should just text him and ask him. Then we see the Rockwells returning to their traditional number, the number 15 car, and this announcement was made a few weeks ago. So you'll see Hanley, who we saw in GT4 America with Parker Thompson a couple of years ago under the Hanley Motorsports. He's going to run the full season with Doug Oakley, who Doug is the car chief / engineer on that car for a long time. He ran the 4-hour race in Daytona 2 years ago. So those two will run the full season together in the Hyundai Elantra NTCR, and then you'll see Alex, the father of the Rockwells, jump in for the first round at Daytona. Then you get to the Brian Hurta Autosport cars. There are 4 of them, and you will see 3 drivers actually listed on here. Harry Godsacker, John Miller, and Lance Bergstein in the number 18 car. So exciting and different there to have 3 driver lineups. We ran a 3 driver lineup at Daytona in 2024. That was the first time Brian Hurta Autosport had ever run a 3 driver lineup. And that was the only time we did it. And then you'll actually see in a second that 3 out of the 4 Hurta cars have 3 drivers this year. And actually, nine out of 15 TCR cars have 3 driver lineups, which I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah. Um, so then you go to the first of the VGRT cars. Will Talley, not in the number 5 car like I just talked about, he's making the switch to Victor Gonzalez Racing in the second brand new Cupra Leon VZ for them. And you'll see Clemens with him, and I believe Clemens was with BSI in VP Challenge and GT4 last year. So those two are listed as full season drivers together. Then you see the driver lineup at Herta, same names but shuffling around, right? We see Mason and Bryson are teamed up for the full season together in the 33 car with the traditional Brian Herta Autosport numbers. And you actually have Joshua Berchan, I think is how you say it, who is a TCR Hyundai driver from Australia coming to join them for
Oh,
the first round of the pilot challenge at Daytona. So that's exciting, and obviously a Mason made a big announcement last week in that fact that he is running full season for DXTT in the Corvette as well. So quite a busy season for Mason, and I'm excited for him. That's awesome for him. That's going to be a quick driver lineup, right? Mason and Bryson, two guys that were always battling for poles all season last season in the 98 and the 33 now teamed up together. Then you got the first of the Baker cars. You see James and Sam back together for year 2 full season for them, right? Year 3 total, but
yep.
yeah, that's awesome to see. And then you see another familiar name and another Cupra. The first people who had the Cupra, the only people who had the Cupra at Daytona last year, which was Eddie and Eduardo Gu. But do you see this third name on there?
Oh, he's not selling them anymore. He's racing them. Is
It's
that who it?
John Morley, who was our who was in the Road Shagger racing car forever as their pro and the 2-time Daytona winner, and a guy very familiar with the Audi slash Cupra platform. So, and John, like, he drove that car like from a lap down last year at Daytona and got it back into the lead at one point and then had issues. So it's I think that's the first time we've seen them bring in a pro at Goo, and I think he's a great guy to bring in. He is the only him and Gavin are the only 2-time winners of this race in TCR at Daytona. So I think that's going to be a great get for them. Hasn't been announced if that's I would assume the father and son's still going to be together for the full season, but nice to see John get a ride. He's a very quick guy in a touring car. Uh, then we go to the second of the Baker racing cars, which is Dean Baker. And do you know about Kenny? I see Kenny's seems to be a
Yep.
pretty uh, big name around your parts. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about Kenny and what he's been doing.
Yeah, so Kenny Reedman has been running, I believe, the last couple of seasons in the Radical Cup Canada up here, and the Radical Cup for those who don't know, there's the Canadian Sports Car Championship, which is called FEL, and for a few years they've had a TCR and uh, GT4 class, and I guess they technically added Porsche Cup to that as well. But then the other big championship that they run, sort of on the same weekends, usually is the Radical Cup class, and actually the Radical Cup has really taken off in the past couple of years. They have very healthy grids there. They hit up some really iconic tracks and iconic races around here. Whether that be the Toronto Indy, they're usually on the support for. At least one of the championships is. They go to CTMP a couple times a year. It's a pretty big championship up here in the racing space. So Kenny's been getting a lot of race wins there in Radicals, and now is getting connected with Baker Racing, and Baker Racing also having come from the FEL Championship as well, and going to be running with Dean in the 56 car. So Kenny's going to be quick. I think we'll be talking about that 56 a little bit as the season goes along here.
Nice, and as you see, they are the only 2 Audis currently entered right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting when we had 5 Audis last year.
Yeah.
Mm. Now, his 72 lineup is getting all crazy on you, right? Okay, so
Oh
you
my!
have the
Another name.
you have the oh, before we even get to the name, hold on. Okay, so you have Pegram, who we've seen for a couple seasons now, in a Honda Civic. Boo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they have switched manufacturers away from Hyundai to Honda, and you see Mario Farnbacher.
The
Does
name
that
doesn't
name
ring a
ring a
bell.
bell? Yeah,
No.
so Mario Farnbacher, obviously with deep ties to Honda, coming in there with Riley. The TBD, I believe, is still Larry. I know Larry's just been feeling a little under the weather about some stuff, but yeah, I mean, okay, so we said first time seeing Goo get a pro in the car with him with Morley, and now you see the first time Pegram getting a pro in the car with them in Mario Farnbacher. You know, like I said, a ton of three driver lineups in here. Obviously, a
Yeah.
lot easier to do at Daytona than it is at Mid Ohio with having the Roar test, but interesting. I'll give you a fun fact about three driver lineups in a moment once we get done here. 76 car, second place in the championship last year, defending race winners Dennis DuPont and Preston Brown back for year three with Brian Herta Autosport and the Hyundai Elantra in TCR. I'm a big fan of those guys. I think they're going to do really
Uh,
well this year.
I don't understand why, but
I don't know
you.
either.
Yeah.
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 And then there's where we won Daytona back there. I have to add another one next month. Okay, then we go to Stallion Motorsports. This is our new team, right? Which
Yep.
is supported by Goo. We see a familiar name talking about Precision LA. So actually, three of the four drivers that were driving Precision LA this year, still in the Pilot Challenge, just not with them, which I'm sure is very frustrating for them. But Celso Neto, who we saw be very quick last year, and then it is listed as a TBD, but they've announced it on social. Rafael Reese, who when I look at him, he is a Brazilian stock car champion. So two Brazilian drivers on that car in another Cupra, the fourth Cupra that we've seen.
Getting some international flavor in the TCR class, which is nice to see.
I mean,
Australia, Brazil.
there's a ton of quick drivers in this too. I mean, we're still not done. Heart Racing back with their typical drivers that we normally see with them, Chad and Tyler and Cameron in their Honda, of course. Great to see those guys back. We haven't seen them since Indy of last year. Then you see MMG third place in the championship last year. Obviously, heartbreaker to end the season with how their championship ended. Probably the strongest car of the second half of the season last year. They had difficult race at Daytona last year with engine issues that would take them out of the race. But you see Carl and LP, and then Dai Yoshihara back for the endurance rounds, just like he was last year. Three quick drivers in that car. Certainly out of the gate, the favorite Honda team and a team that has much like my team finishing the job on their mind, I'm sure, and winning the championship. And then a couple more to close it out. We have the 98 car, the other Brian Herter Autosport number that you always see. We have another driver pairing, a new pairing, same drivers with Maddie and Mark Wilkins. Never heard of him. What has he done together as well? I think that's awesome to see somebody young like Maddie teamed up with the most experienced TCR driver in the field in Mark.
I wasn't sure what you were going to market Mark as there after the way you.
I mean, he's like one of my favorite. He's awesome. He's a great driver and a great guy. And then Andre Castro, you see as the third driver again. So as I said, three BHA cars with three drivers, and he was in TCA or touring TC Championship in SRO, and I believe the Hyundai had a shootout for several of their drivers, and he ended up winning this ride for this race through his
Oh wow.
his test that they did in Indy and stuff like that. So awesome opportunity for him. And then finally, you'll see the 99 car, the final Victor Gonzalez car with Tyler Gonzalez, no relation, and I don't know why these were listed as TBDs either, but Franco Gurulani, I'm probably butchering his name, TCR European champion.
We'll learn it. We'll learn it.
Yeah, and Filippo Bardelli, who is a TCR driver in Italy. So
Wow.
yeah, like big international flair from Victor. This is a very stout driver lineup with Franco and Tyler, two very, very quick drivers. Yeah, you might not have the car count we have in GT4, but we have like really extreme quality. I mean, normally,
Yeah.
like last year, I was going, okay, these are the 7 cars that are going to compete for podiums all season long. This, I mean, you take some of these teams throwing these pro drivers in here, and they got 2 hours to get after it. I mean, this is kind of wide open, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we talked about it with GT4, like TCR is. I mean, we know how fun TCR has been to watch, or how fun it is to watch, how great the battles are, and that's going to be no different this year after that entry list.
So, as I said, a lot of 3 driver lineups, right? 9 out of 15, by far the most
Yeah.
we've seen in TCR in a long time. Stu, there have been 16 4-hour endurance races since TCR came into IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. Out of all those 16 races, how many races do you think a 3 driver lineup scored a podium?
Oh, a podium.
Yeah, just a podium.
I would say, and you said 16 races?
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, we haven't usually, it's not very often that we've seen 3 driver lineups, right? Like even in those previous races, like it doesn't jump out.
There's
Yeah,
normally 4 or 5 at least, yeah.
yeah, but that's normally less than half the field. It's not 2/3 of the field. I would say give me 8. Give me 8 podiums in those
8.
16 races.
Yeah, 8 makes sense. What's 16 times 3, right? So actually
Yeah.
only 3 times has it ever happened.
Wow.
And
Wow.
only one time ever has a 3 driver lineup won a race. So yeah. So
Wow. Who was the, do you know who the 3 driver lineup was?
Well, the last 3 driver lineup to get a podium would be the 76 car at Daytona in 2024 with Nick joining us. And then the only win would ever be JDC in 2021
Okay.
when we had, it might have been Will Talley actually joining Mike Taylor and Miller. So, yeah. So, you know, I don't know. Just an interesting stat I'm throwing out there.
Why do you as someone who's, you've had 3 driver lineups that you've run with before, what do you think, what are some of the additional challenges that you see with a 3 driver lineup versus a 2 driver lineup? Is it just the track time, or the lack of track time that the drivers are getting because they have to split it up a little bit more, or?
Well, for sure, track time is a big part of it, but obviously not so much at Daytona as it is when you go to Mid Ohio, right? And you don't have
Yeah.
the test the weekend before. You know, you have a pretty decent amount of track time, but split amongst 3. You know, still, I mean, you know, even the test sessions, the longest one is 90 minutes. Some of them are 75 minutes. One of them is only 60 minutes. So, you know, not a lot of time to get the drivers in there, right? You're trying to make 3 drivers happy with their setup. It can handcuff you with strategy for sure, because you're kind of forcing to shuffle them through the race somewhat quickly because they have to do 40 minutes each. You know, you have hour-long stints. You only have a 4-hour-long race. So, you know, there's just a number of factors that can contribute to it. You know, obviously, sometimes when you see these bronze driver lineups, they've been 2 funded guys and 1 pro. So, you know, maybe gives your pro less time in the car, right? And you have more slower guys, if you want to say, in the car for a longer amount of time. But, you know, in the case of these, you really see AM lineups adding pros. So I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I've done both. I've podiumed at Daytona with both in the last 2 years. You know, it can be done, but you know, it's just another wrinkle to watch for in this race and in this in this weekend. I think it's going to be interesting to see how teams manage it. It's definitely a more stressful weekend for managing it.
Yeah.
In the garage. There's just a lot more, you're trying to get, especially when you have an AM in the lineup too, because he's paying a majority of the bill or all the bill. You got to get him his seat time. He's got to get comfortable. Then you got these other guys, they're trying to set up the car. They might not agree on the setup, whatever it is.
Yep.
So it's a new wrinkle. It's obviously something that WeatherTech teams deal with all the time. But yeah.
Somebody we have calling out your humble brag there, I think.
Well,
for I've podiumed with
yeah,
both in the past 2
yeah.
years. Yeah.
It's more humble fact stating, Travis, but that's okay. Yeah.
So we do looking at again a reminder to everybody, if there's questions that you have, we try and keep them more towards the sports series side of things. So if you do have sports series specific questions, we'll try and touch on those. It sounds like the way that you've been talking tonight, though, that you might be pushing Andrew to want to come back.
No,
And
Andrew's
get on
got
a
a very
TCR car.
Andrew's got a very cool gig. Yeah, I'm
That he
excited.
does.
Man, that's cool.
That he does. But I guess again, not pilot challenge related, but on the, I mean, it's in the scope of Hyundai anyways, is with the Genesis and how they will do. Of course, Genesis isn't going to be in GTP this year. Hopefully we will see them confirmed for the grid next year. But I mean, with any new car, whether we're talking about a new car in pilot challenge or VP or wherever, it's always important to temper some expectations, especially in the early going, and take the small wins where you can get them. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see Genesis jump out and win in their first race or anything, but if they could follow a path that Aston Martin did with the Valkyrie, then I think that would be a very successful season, a successful first season for them.
Give me a Genesis back half of the season podium and WEC. That's one of my 2026 predictions right there.
Are you allowed to talk about WEC BOP? Is that okay? I don't think you're not gonna get in trouble for that. No?
Probably not.
No. To bring it back to pilot challenge, like a 49 car entry grid for what is it's still the BMW M Endurance Challenge. Is that the name of it?
Mm-hmm.
That how does 49 compare? Do you remember from last year? Is that a slight downtick?
Oh no, that's an uptick. Hold on, I'll tell you.
So we've seen that much growth in GS.
Last year was 43 cars, 27 in GS and 16 in TCR. Oh, sorry, I said 17, but it was only 16. So you're seeing what I believe will be +7 total at least. Because I still, like I said, I still think we're gonna see one more. So pretty strong, right?
Yeah, that's.
There's only 60 pit stalls. I mean, at some point you're running out of room.
I was gonna say, like, where are all these cars gonna go in the paddock, right? Like Daytona is tight.
Honestly, if you had 30-something cars in VP Challenge, you really would have been slammed over there in the blue garage on the first weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mm.
So that'll be fun. So just general schedule for what we're looking at here for the first couple of, I guess, weeks. The VP Challenge, of course, gets underway during the Roar weekend. So it's the weekend before the Rolex. They'll have those races be broadcast. I actually haven't looked to confirm where they're being broadcast, but I would assume it's
they're on
IMSA YouTube channel
and NBC,
Peacock. Yeah.
And,
so it's safe to assume that.
And that's a cool weekend for those guys too, because they get to become the star of the show because they are the only race on the Roar. So they have a grid walk and stuff like that, which they normally don't ever get to have. So if you're there on Saturday. They got a grid walk pre-race, and it's pretty awesome for them because the Boy Scouts take over
Yep.
the camping that weekend, and there's a ton of kids there. It's a cool weekend. So yeah, it's a nice weekend for those guys. That's really the only time they get to be the star of the show. Well, I guess at their new things that you can't buy tickets
Oh yeah,
for.
the
But yeah,
USAC. Yeah.
yeah. So and honestly, it's a race that pretty much everybody else in the paddock pays attention to somewhat as also because you can kind of see how the track's racing, see if you're in GT4, you can see how the BOP shaking out a little bit. So yeah, it's definitely one everybody keeps their eye on.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to have racing back on again, just around the corner, and then of course the Michelin Pilot Challenge is I guess it's not the
The
only
day,
supporting act, but it's the big supporting act before the Rolex 24 with the 4 hour long BMW M Endurance Challenge, and that is on Friday before the day before the Rolex 24. So always a great race there. And I mean, with 50 cars, it looks like about to pack the grid. That one looks like it's going to be a must watch for sure.
and it was packed on Friday last year. I mean, it was
Yeah,
slammed
it
at
was.
Daytona. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to a big crowd. It's awesome way to start the season for sure. And yeah, I mean, I love the enduros. I can't wait.
I agree. I agree. This is the Rolex weekend's always special, and getting a
And
nice
you can find Stu. Stu will be in attendance. I mean,
yep.
if
I
he's not
will.
in the
Eric.
media, if he's not in the media center doing all of his very important
Uh,
media things,
well, if you're not in the garage too doing your more important race car things, then
I'll be easier to find this year than I was last year. I was a little busy last
oh yeah,
year. Yeah.
that's true.
So
You were working on another car with a bunch of like nobody drivers on that. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't
guys
have
that never
you know.
panned out to be much. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they all suck. They all suck.
Yeah.
Well, I think I took a look through, and we don't have any lingering questions or anything. I think everybody's just excited to get the season underway. So this is probably a good spot to wrap it up. Um, Aaron, I mean, like you just alluded to, you're going to be at the Rolex. Find Aaron in the garage, the Rolex, the Roar Week. Drop in, say hi, say you're cheering for not the 76, and carry on your and carry on your merry way. And of course, I'll be kicking around as well. So we'll be back post Rolex weekend for a little bit of a recap, probably sometime in early February. But keep an eye out for that. And final question from Hoodpin: new merch this year. Maybe might have to do more merch with Aaron's face on it. Might have to do that.
Yeah. Well, and obviously the MX5 Cup is also going to be at Daytona that
That's true.
weekend. But as the way entry lists come out, they don't come out till the Wednesday before the race week, and so we do not have the MX5 entry list out yet. So that's why we haven't talked about the MX5 Cup. But of course, MX5 Cup at Daytona, literally everyone always watches. Just
It's
awesome
drop
race.
everything.
I
Yeah.
mean, insane. Yeah, I've been in where all the drivers and teams eat, and they have TVs in there, and literally no one. It's always loud in there. No one was talking because everyone was watching the final 3 laps of the MX5 at Daytona. So yeah, that'll be great to watch. Hopefully, no huge wrecks turn one, lap one like we had last year. But
Yeah.
yeah, come find us at Daytona. Maybe we'll try to do a meetup on Thursday or something of race week. But yeah, obviously everybody's excited for this season. I mean, this was how it was last year. Our season preview show always has by far the most live eyes on it, and it's been like that all night as well. So yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. Well, with that, I think that's a perfect spot to leave it. Thanks to everyone that has dropped in live here, or if you're watching or listening to the recording of this after the fact as well. And like I said, if you have any questions, then feel free to reach out to us on the Instagram machine or the X machine, and be happy to help you out. But as you pulled up this comment, more wins, more finger gun shirts. That's the rules. All right, we'll see if we can.
It's been a
We'll see if
while
we can
since the finger
revive.
guns have come out, so yeah, no one has actually ever won Daytona and TCR in back-to-back years, and only one team has ever won it twice. Period. So yeah, we'll try to go see if we can't write some more history. I mean, no team had ever finished in the top 2 in 4 endurance races in a row in Pilot Challenge either until we did it. So we'll try to go for
There you
5 in a
go.
row for that one too.
Bingo. Boom, boom, boom. More finger guns. See if that comes. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a finger gun celebration on the next episode of this. I do highly suggest as well, based on from this comment, to get that shirt. That's
You, you
they
better get her
do
a
some-
jacket if you're coming to Daytona because, of course, it's
yeah,
going to
that's
be
true.
cold. As I look at the weather, it was 78 yesterday, and now it's going to be cold when we get there. So, boo.
Lovely.
But maybe we'll get a
Lovely.
warm race week. So, and I'm not working the 24, so I won't be freezing at 4 a.m. this time.
Well, making me look forward to going from cold to cold. So,
Yeah.
with that, let's leave it there. But on behalf of Aaron and Stu, thanks for. I called myself Stu on behalf of Aaron.
Speaking of the third,
Yeah, the third person. I'm getting all rattled now. This is what happens when we go longer than an hour and 20 minutes. This is why we cut it off at an hour and 20 minutes. On behalf of Aaron and myself, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, if you see us around the track at the Rolex weekend, then say hi. Otherwise, have a great race weekend, and we will talk to you later.
happy racing.
No, I cut you off. What were you going to say? Happy racing?